When I passed out at a family dinner, 7 months pregnant, my husband, following his mother's orders, refused to call for help. My mother-in-law insisted, "No, son, don't call. She's faking it." I woke up alone in a hospital room. And there I discovered a secret that left me and the doctors stunned. Can you imagine loving someone so completely, building a life, a future, only to discover they weren't just betraying you, but actively trying to destroy the most precious thing you had? My husband and his own mother cooked up a plan so twisted, so evil, that even now it chills me to my core. They tried to murder my unborn children. Even now, a year later, my fingers still tremble typing this, but I have to tell you my story. My name is Emily. I'm 32, and just a year and a half ago, I thought I had it all. A loving husband, David, 5 beautiful years of marriage, a cozy apartment, a good job. We'd been trying for a baby for so long, and when I finally got pregnant, it felt like a miracle. We were both so excited, preparing for this new life. Or so I thought. The only shadow in our perfect picture was his mother, Linda. From day one, she made it abundantly clear I wasn't good enough. Not pretty enough, not successful enough, not from the right family. In the early years, she constantly interfered, criticizing my cooking, my ambition, everything. Every visit ended with me in tears and David defending her. "She's just worried about us, Emily," he'd say. "She just wants to help." I learned to ignore her jabs, to see her as little as possible. David, though, he was attached. Weekly visits, daily calls. It worried me, but he was still my loving husband. Then I got pregnant. And suddenly, Linda changed. She called, she asked how I felt, she offered help. I was surprised, but David said she was just thrilled to be a grandma. I believed him. I even hoped we could finally get along. My pregnancy was pretty smooth. A little morning sickness, mild anemia, nothing serious. I worked until my 6th month, then went on leave. David was there for me, helping around the house, coming to appointments. But slowly, he started skipping some, blaming work. In my 7th month, my cousin Sarah invited us to her birthday. I really didn't want to go. I was tired, dizzy, swollen. But Sarah insisted, and so did David. He said my family wanted to congratulate me. The party was at a small cafe. I barely ate, barely touched my non-alcoholic drink. David sat beside me, but he was glued to his phone, smiling. I thought maybe he was texting his mom, checking in, being a good son. About 2 hours in, it hit me. Dizzy. Nauseous. Black spots danced before my eyes. "David," I whispered, "we need to go. I feel terrible." He brushed me off. "Wait, the cake isn't even here yet." I staggered to the bathroom, holding onto walls, hoping cold water would help. It didn't. Back at the table, I pleaded, "David, I'm really not well." He looked annoyed, but stood, mumbled apologies, and we left. Outside, the cool air helped a little, but the weakness remained. In the taxi, the dizziness returned. I don't remember much of the ride home, just struggling up the 3 flights of stairs because the elevator was broken. On the 3rd floor, I lost my balance. My hands grabbed the railing. "Emily, come on. You're fine." "Just tired," David said, his voice flat. "David, I'm not fine. Please, call an ambulance." He rolled his eyes, reaching for his phone, but then the intercom buzzed. It was Linda. "Son, I decided to stop by." 5 minutes later, she was there. She saw me collapsed on the couch, eyes closed, and her lips pursed. "What? Feeling sick again?" "Oh, Emily, you really shouldn't listen to every little thing your body tells you. Pregnancy isn't an illness." I carried David, worked till the last day, did all the housework. "And you've been on leave for 2 months already, just resting." I couldn't answer. I had no strength. It was useless anyway. David explained I'd gotten sick and wanted an ambulance. An ambulance? What for? "You'd just waste the doctor's time. They're saving real patients." This? It's just normal tiredness. "Son, give her some calming drops. Let her rest quietly. She'll be fine." David obediently went to the kitchen. Linda sat beside me, her voice dropping to a harsh whisper. "Emily, I know what you're doing. You're manipulating my son." using this pregnancy to tie him to you even more. But it won't work. David's a smart boy. He sees through it. I tried to speak, but a new wave of weakness overwhelmed me. My arms, my legs went numb. Darkness swallowed me whole. The last thing I heard was Linda's voice, sharp and commanding. Don't, son. Don't call. She's pretending. I woke up in a hospital bed. White ceiling, a lightning-shaped crack. The smell of disinfectant medicine. My arm was hooked up to N4. I turned my head and saw a monitor tracking 2 heartbeats, mine, steady and calm, and a tiny, racing one inside me. Fear seized me. I tried to sit up. A nurse appeared. Easy, easy. Stay still. How do you feel? Where am I? What happened? Who brought me here? You're in the county hospital, maternity pathology. An ambulance brought you. Your condition was serious. Preeclampsia, high blood pressure, risk of placental abruption. You're better now, but no stress. And the baby? Is the baby okay? Yes, the baby's hanging in there, but you both need rest and treatment. And my husband? Is he here? She hesitated, looking away. No, no one's here right now. But you can call him. She handed me my phone. The screen was cracked, but it worked. I unlocked it. Several missed calls from David. A couple of messages. Emily, how are you? Text me when you wake up. Sorry I can't come right now. Mom said you need rest and visiting will only make things worse. Call me when you can. I dropped the phone. Closed my eyes. A wave of pain, then pure, burning anger. I was here, in critical condition, my baby at risk, and my husband wasn't here. And once again, Linda was behind it, manipulating him, and he was listening to her instead of me. An hour later, the doctor arrived. A kind, middle-aged woman. Well, Emily, you gave us quite a scare. Good thing the ambulance got to you in time. Any later, and the consequences could have been irreversible. Thank you. But who called the ambulance? I passed out at home, and my husband didn't want to call. The doctor looked surprised. According to our records, it was a neighbor. She said she heard noise, then calls for help. When the team arrived, the door was open, and you were lying unconscious on the floor. Alone. Alone. The word hit me like a physical blow. David. And his mother. They had just left me there. Pregnant. In danger. I couldn't comprehend it. Now, about your condition, the doctor continued, you have preeclampsia. High blood pressure, protein in your urine, swelling. These are signs your placenta isn't working properly. We'll keep you here, probably until delivery. If things get worse, we'll do an emergency C-section. For now, conservative treatment. And the baby? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. Is the baby okay? The doctor hesitated. The baby's holding on, but there are signs of fetal hypoxia. Not enough oxygen. We're doing everything we can, but you need to be ready for a long hospital stay. No stress. No nerves. I nodded, fighting back tears. She explained the treatment, then turned to leave, but stopped. She came back, sat on the edge of the bed. Emily, I didn't want to tell you right away, but you need to know. When we did the ultrasound, we saw something unusual. You're carrying 2 babies. Twins. Twins. My head reeled. But how? Why didn't anyone tell me before? I had regular checkups. It's called a hidden twin, she explained. One fetus can be hidden behind the other, especially if they share the same sac. But that's not all. One of the babies is smaller, behind in development. There are problems with the heartbeat. There's a risk that this one might not survive. 2 babies instead of 1. And one of them might die. My world spun. Get some rest, Emily. I'll check on you later. She left me alone with my thoughts, my fears. David didn't even know yet. I dialed his number. Long rings. Voicemail. I left a short message. I'm in the hospital. Serious condition. We need to talk. Then I called my mom, 250 miles away. She was shocked. Said she was leaving immediately. Next, my college friend, Jessica. She knew all about David and Linda. She was furious, promised to bring essentials. That night, I couldn't sleep. The monitor beeped softly, tracking 2 tiny heartbeats inside me. One strong, steady. The other weak and uneven. I stroked my belly. Hang in there, babies. Mommy's here. Mommy loves you both. That night, I dreamed I was on a beach. Two small figures waved on the horizon. I walked towards them, but my feet sank into the sand. Suddenly, one figure faded, disappeared. I screamed. Reached out. Couldn't save it. I woke in a cold sweat. Dawn was breaking. The monitor kept beeping. Then I froze. Only one rhythm. Nurse. I cried. There's only one heartbeat. What's happening to my babies? She rushed in. Calm down, Emily. That happens. The baby might have just turned. We'll do an ultrasound in the morning. But I couldn't sleep. In the morning, Mom arrived, tired but relieved to see me. She hugged me, cried, then asked questions. I told her everything, the preeclampsia, the twins, the risks. Don't worry, sweetheart. Everything will be okay. We'll get through this. I'm staying with you, she said. And your husband. I'll give him a piece of my mind. Mom, please don't. I can't get stressed. She pressed her lips together but nodded. Soon, the doctor came. Checked my blood pressure, listened to both hearts. The second baby's heartbeat is weak, but it's there. Let's do an ultrasound now. They wheeled me to the exam room. Cold gel. The probe. The doctor's tense face. They're both alive, she finally said. The first is developing normally. The second is behind with blood flow issues, but still fighting. We'll keep monitoring. I exhaled. Both my babies were alive. That was all that mattered. Back in my room, Jessica was waiting. She'd brought everything. Emily, you scared me so much. I didn't sleep all night. The three of us, me, Mom, and Jessica, talked, made plans. Mom rented a room nearby. Jessica promised to visit daily. But David still didn't show. No calls, no messages. It was like I and our babies didn't exist. That evening, after Mom and Jessica left, I tried calling him again. This time, he answered. His voice was tense, distant. Emily, how are you? Sorry, I couldn't pick up before. I was busy. Busy? I'm in the hospital, in serious condition. Busy doing what exactly? Emily, please don't start. I've had a lot of work and Mom's been sick, so I was with her. Anger flared inside me, but I remembered the doctor's warning. No stress. I took a deep breath. David, I have a serious pregnancy complication. Preeclampsia. High blood pressure. Risk for both me and the baby. And there's more. We're having twins. 2 babies, not 1. Silence. Twins? Are you sure? Why didn't they tell us earlier? I explained about the hidden twin, the developmental delay, the risks. He listened, silent. I waited for any reaction. Joy. Worry? Something. I'll come tomorrow. I promise. But I have to go now. Mom's calling me. He hung up. I stared at the dark screen. A strange feeling growing inside me. Something was deeply, horribly off. That night, the same dream returned. The beach, the 2 figures, one fading away. But now I saw the other figure's face. It was David. He stood there, watching our child disappear, indifferent. I woke up drained, with a pounding headache. My blood pressure spiked. They had to give me an injection. The doctor was concerned. If it continued, they'd have to do a C-section, even this early. Mom and Jessica came again. They brought fresh fruit and books. I smiled, nodded, but my thoughts were elsewhere. Where was David? Why wasn't he here? Why didn't he call? By evening, still no sign. The hurt built, a tight knot in my throat. Mom tried to distract me. Emily, don't think about him. You can't get upset. Focus on the babies. But I couldn't stop. My husband, the father of my children, had abandoned me at the hardest moment of my life. The next morning, during rounds, I broke down. I told the doctor everything. She listened closely, then took my hand. Emily, I'm not a psychologist, but as a doctor, your emotional state directly affects your health and your babies. Right now, you need to focus on yourself and them. Everything else can wait. I'm trying, really, but I can't stop wondering. Why is he doing this? What did I do wrong? She paused. In 20 years, I've seen many situations. Sometimes men can't handle the pressure, especially with complications or sick children. Not everyone is ready to carry that weight. But it's not your fault. Her words calmed me a little, but the bitterness remained. Could David really be that kind of man? Later that day, eyes closed, I heard the door open quietly. A familiar scent, his cologne, mixed with cigarette smoke. I opened my eyes. He stood awkwardly, holding white roses, my favorite. Hi, can I come in? I nodded, fighting conflicting emotions. Relief he'd come, rage it took so long. He put the flowers in a vase, sat beside me. He looked awful. Pale, drawn, dark circles. Sorry, I didn't come yesterday. I couldn't. All of this, it's so unexpected. Twins. Complications. I was scared. Scared of responsibility. Scared there might be problems with the babies. Do you think I'm not scared? It's my body, David. Our children are growing inside me. One of them might not survive. I'm in danger too. But I can't run, hide, pretend nothing's happening. I have to be strong. For me. For them. For all of us. He lowered his head. I know. I've been weak. Selfish. Thinking only about myself and my fears. Your mom said. I cut him off sharply. What does your mom have to do with this? Was it her idea for you not to come? To leave me unconscious on the floor? To ignore my calls? He looked up, confusion, guilt, and fear in his eyes. Emily, don't. Mom has nothing to do with this. She's just worried. Worried about the kids? The ones you abandoned? One of them could die at any moment. The ones you didn't even want to meet, didn't come to the ultrasound to see, didn't hear their heartbeats. I knew I was raising my voice. I knew I shouldn't get upset. But I couldn't stop. Too much hurt, fear, disappointment had built up. Please calm down. I'm here now. Everything will be okay. Okay. You think it's okay that you showed up 2 days after I was hospitalized? That you left me unconscious? That you listened to your mother instead of your wife? He stayed silent. Just then, a nurse came in, saw my flushed, angry face, the elevated blood pressure on the monitor. What's going on here? Emily, you can't get upset. And you, young man, should probably leave. David stood, gave me a guilty look. I'll come tomorrow. I promise. And I love you. Really. He left. I was left with the unsettling feeling that something was unsaid. The nurse gave me a sedative. This isn't good, Emily. You have to take care of yourself for the babies. I nodded. She was right. That evening, Mom came. Seeing the flowers, she pressed her lips together. So, he finally showed up. What did he say? Mom, please don't start. I'm having a hard enough time. She softened, hugged me. Sorry, sweetheart. I'm just so angry at him. I know. I'm angry too. But right now, the most important thing is the babies. Their health. Their lives. Mom nodded. That night, the same dream. The beach, the two figures, one fading. But now I saw the other figure. It was Linda. She stood there, watching my child vanish. A triumphant, cruel smile on her face. I awoke in a cold sweat. The monitor showed 2 heartbeats. One strong, the other weaker, but steady. My babies were alive. Both of them. I had to do everything to keep it that way. In the morning, the doctor checked my vitals. Emily, your blood pressure has stabilized, which is good, but you need to continue treatment, strict bed rest, and avoid stress. That's crucial. Doctor, tell me, do they have a chance? Both of them? Could they both be okay? She hesitated, then answered honestly. There's always a chance. The first baby is developing normally, will most likely be fine. The second one is smaller, weaker, with blood flow issues. But babies can surprise us. The weakest are the ones who fight the hardest. So yes, there's a chance. But you need to be prepared for anything. I nodded. No guarantees. But a chance was enough. That afternoon, David came. No flowers this time, just fruit and juice. He looked better. More composed. Hi, how are you feeling? Better. My blood pressure is stable. The babies are okay as much as they can be. He sat beside me. His fingers were cold, trembling slightly. Emily, I want to apologize. For everything. For not being there. For not answering your calls. For leaving you in the apartment. I stayed quiet, waiting. I panicked when you fainted. I didn't know what to do. Mom said we shouldn't call an ambulance. That you were just tired. I believed her. She's my mom. I've always trusted her. Then we left. She said she needed me to walk her home, that you'd be fine, you'd wake up soon. I listened in disbelief. They had simply walked away. Left me unconscious. In danger. Because his mother told him to. And you didn't think to come back? To check on me? To make sure I and the babies were okay? He lowered his eyes. I thought about it, but Mom said it would look like I didn't trust her. That it would hurt her feelings. And I listened to her again. His voice was full of despair. David, do you realize what could have happened? I could have died. Our babies could have died. Because you listened to your mother instead of your own judgment. He nodded, not looking up. I know. I'm not asking for forgiveness. Something like that can't be forgiven. I just want you to know I understand my guilt, and I'll try to change. For you. For the babies. I stared at him. Anger. Disappointment. Pity? I don't know if I'll ever be able to forget this. Maybe I can forgive you someday. But forget? No. Right now, I have to focus on the babies and on myself. Everything else comes later. He nodded. I understand. I'll be here. I'll come every day. Help however I can. And I'll talk to Mom. Make her understand she's wrong. I gave a faint smile. I'd heard that promise before. All right, David. Talk to her if you can. The nurse came in with new 4 fluids. David stood, kissed my forehead. I'll come tomorrow. And I love you, Emily. Really. He left. And that same sense of something unsaid, something wrong, lingered. That evening, Mom and Jessica came. They brought homemade chicken soup, fruit salad, magazines. I listened, smiled, but my thoughts kept drifting to David's words, his promises. After they left, I picked up my phone. Email. I hadn't looked in a while. I skimmed through, deleting junk. Then I noticed something odd. In the deleted folder. An email from David. But we never emailed each other. I opened it. And froze. It wasn't for me. Then I remembered. A few months ago, David had used my laptop. His was broken. I'd given him my email password. He must have forgotten to log out. And then sent this email, thinking he was on his own account. When he realized the mistake, he deleted it. But it stayed in the trash. I began to read. With each line, the ground seemed to fall away beneath me. Dear Anna, I can't get you out of my head after our last meeting. Everything we talked about feels so right, so real. I know I'm being cruel to Emily. I know I should tell her the truth, but now, while she's pregnant, I can't. It would destroy her. I spoke to Mom. She thinks I should stay with Emily until the birth. Make sure the baby is fine. And then we can be together, you and me. I love you, Anna, more than life. And soon nothing will stand between us. Kisses, D. I read it over and over. David was cheating on me. His mother knew. More than that, she approved. She was advising him to stay with me only until the babies were born, then leave me. This email was sent 3 months ago, when I was 4 months pregnant. When David and I were picking names for the baby, decorating the nursery. All that time, he'd been lying to me. I felt sick. My whole body shook with rage, with pain. This was betrayal. Cold. Calculated. I needed to talk to someone. Not Mom, she'd explode. Not Jessica, she'd be too emotional. I needed someone calm. Wise. I pressed the call button for the nurse. Could I see the doctor, if she's still here? A few minutes later, the doctor came in. One look at my face and she was on alert. Emily, what happened? Are you feeling unwell? No. Physically, I'm fine. But I just learned something and I don't know how to live with it. I handed her my phone, the email open. She read it, frowned, then looked at me with deep sympathy. Emily, I'm not a psychologist, but as a woman, I'll say this. Things like this happen. Men can be weak, selfish, even cruel. And from the looks of it, your husband is exactly that. What am I supposed to do? I'm pregnant in the hospital with complications, carrying twins. One baby is in danger. And now I find out my husband is cheating and planning to leave me. And his mother knew all along. She sighed, sat beside me. Right now, you need to think only about yourself and the babies. Everything else comes later. When you've given birth, recovered, and are ready to make decisions. For now, keep going. Don't let him know you found out. Don't start a scene. Protect your nerves and your health. But how? How can I pretend nothing happened? It's hard. Very hard. But you have to. For the babies. They're innocent, and they shouldn't suffer because of who their father is. I knew she was right. Logically, I understood. Emotionally, I wanted to scream, cry, smash things. I wanted to call David right then and tell him everything I thought of him. The doctor, as if reading my mind, shook her head. Emily, don't. Not now. Wait until after you've given birth. Until you and the babies are safe. Then you can decide how and with whom you want to live. I nodded, tears streaming down my cheeks. She was right. Right now, their lives were what mattered. Everything else could wait. She gave me a sedative, stayed until I drifted off. You're strong, Emily, she whispered. You'll get through this. You absolutely will. That night, I dreamed of the beach again. The two figures on the horizon. But this time they didn't fade. They stood firm. They called out to me. I walked towards them, and the sand no longer pulled at my feet. I walked easily. Freely. To my children. Only to my children. In the morning, I woke with a new sense of clarity. I knew what I had to do. Not now, as the doctor said. For now, focus only on the babies and their health. But later, I would be strong. For myself. For them. Without David. Without his mother. Without their lies and manipulation. A nurse came in with my medication and breakfast. She checked my blood pressure, listened to the baby's heartbeats. Everything's good, Emily. Both babies are fine. Especially the second one. His numbers have improved a lot overnight. Like he's decided to fight. To live. I smiled. That was the best news I could get. My babies were alive, fighting, refusing to give up. And I wouldn't give up either. For them. That afternoon, David came with fruit, magazines, a smile. I looked at him and thought, how could I have missed the falseness in his words, in his eyes? How are you feeling today? How are the babies? Better. Much better. They say things are improving. Both babies are doing well. He nodded, sat next to me, took my hand. I forced myself not to pull away. Not to show I knew the truth. I'm glad. Really glad. And I spoke with Mom. I told her she was wrong, that leaving you without help was irresponsible. I could see he was lying. Or inventing this conversation. Or maybe they'd talked, but about something else entirely. About the mistress. About how to keep deceiving me. And what did she say? He hesitated. Well, she admitted she overreacted. Said we should have called an ambulance. That you can't take risks with pregnant women. I nodded, pretending to believe him. While inside, I burned with anger. David talked about work, projects, plans. I half listened, nodded, smiled, playing the role of the trusting wife. When he left, I exhaled with relief. Pretending was harder than I thought. But I had to. For the babies. That evening, Mom and Jessica came. I didn't tell them what I'd found. Not yet. There would be a time for that. Right now, the babies came first. The days in the hospital passed slowly. I was getting better. My blood pressure normalized. The swelling went down. My tests improved. And most importantly, the babies were doing well, too. Especially the second one, who had been behind. Now, his numbers were almost the same as his brother's. The doctor was pleased. If things keep going like this, we can make it to 35 weeks. That's a good term for twins. At the first sign of trouble, emergency C-section. But for now, everything's going well. Especially since you started following our strict diet. Her knowing smile told me she was aware of the test results and supported my little lie. David kept coming every day. But now, without fruit or juice. Only magazines, books, flowers. I kept playing my role, pretending to believe every word. One day, he didn't come alone. He brought his mother. Linda looked smug. New suit, perfectly styled hair, a heavy gold pendant. I tensed when I saw the woman who, along with her son, had planned to kill my children. Her own grandchildren. Linda. Emily, you gave us all such a scare. But it's okay. The important thing is you're better now. The doctors say you're recovering and that the baby is fine. I forced myself to smile. The babies, Linda. We're having twins. 2 boys. I caught that same flicker in her eyes I'd seen in David's. Displeasure. Disappointment. She, too, had been expecting a different outcome. Expecting their plan to work. For the babies to die. Yes. Yes, of course. Twins. David told me. What joy. What happiness. She said the right words, but there was no sincerity. Only fake sweetness. I looked at her and wondered how I'd never noticed the act all these years. How I'd believed she'd ever accept me, let alone love me. Linda sat on the edge of the bed and took my hand. I forced myself not to pull away. You know, Emily, I've been thinking about the future. About how we'll live after the babies are born. And I've decided you should move in with me. I have a big apartment. 3 bedrooms. It'll be convenient for you, and I'll help with the babies. Twins are a lot to handle alone. I could hardly believe what I was hearing. After everything she'd done. This offer was absurd. Thanks for the offer, Linda, but David and I have already decided. We'll stay in our own apartment. My mom will help me. She came here especially, rented a place nearby. Linda pursed her lips. Well, Emily, think about it. Your mom isn't a young woman. It'll be hard for her with 2 newborns. My mom is 53, Linda. The same age as you. And she's full of energy. It was a small, sharp jab. Linda gave a strange smile. Yes, of course. I just wanted to help. But if you've already decided. David, who had been silently standing by the window, suddenly spoke up. Mom, Emily's right. We'll be more comfortable in our own apartment. And Emily's mom really wants to help with the grandkids. We can't say no to her. I looked at him surprised. He was siding with me. Not his mother. Unlike the old David. Linda looked just as surprised, shooting her son a glare full of outrage. But she said aloud, well, as you wish. I only wanted to help. I nodded, pretending to believe her, though I knew the real reason for her offer, control. Control over me, the babies, and David. They left half an hour later. Linda irritated. David silent. I was left with the feeling of a small, but important, victory. That evening, Dr. Reyes came, not on rounds, just to talk. I told her about Linda's visit, her offer, my refusal. She listened closely. You did the right thing, Emily. Stay away from those people. They're dangerous. I know. But what do I do next? After the babies are born, you have evidence, the test results, and a witness, Anna. That's enough to go to the police. If they deny it, the question will be, why would a woman who wanted her baby so badly take a drug to end the pregnancy? It's illogical. But the theory that someone slipped it to you without your knowledge makes perfect sense. I nodded. She was right. But it's your decision, Emily. And remember, whatever you decide, I'm on your side. I gave her a grateful smile. That conversation gave me strength. I knew I wasn't alone. There were still many questions. Should I stay with David and pretend I didn't know? Or should I leave and start a new life? It was terrifying. But not as terrifying as living with a man who had tried to kill my children. That night, I dreamed of the ocean again. 2 small figures on the horizon grew closer. 2 boys, identical as 2 drops of water, smiling, reaching out to me. I walked towards them easily, freely. In my future, there was no place for David or his mother. In the morning, I woke certain. I was making the right choice. I knew I could raise my sons on my own. Love them, protect them. Give them everything they needed. Without David. Without his help. Without his love. Weeks passed. I kept getting better. My blood pressure was normal, the swelling gone, tests perfect. The babies were equal in development, their heartbeats strong. Dr. Reyes was amazed. In 20 years, I've rarely seen such a fast improvement with preeclampsia, especially with twins. It's almost a miracle. It's not a miracle, I smiled. It's just that my body and my babies are finally free from poison. By the 35th week, I was ready to give birth. The doctors decided on a planned C-section because of the twins and my history of preeclampsia. I agreed. I wanted my boys to be born healthy and strong. The date was set for the following week. David, when he found out, was oddly calm. Mom and Jessica were excited. I hadn't told them about my decision to leave him. All in good time. Then the day came. The day my boys would be born. I woke early, filled with anticipation. Today, I would become the mother of two beautiful, healthy, strong boys. My boys. My future. David arrived early with a huge bouquet of white roses and a nervous smile. I looked at him, thinking, this is the last day I'll pretend. The last day of our false, hollow marriage. How are you feeling? Nervous? He asked. A little, but mostly excited. Today I finally get to see our sons. Finally hold them. He nodded, put the flowers in a vase, sat beside me, and took my hand. His fingers were cold, damp. He was nervous, not from happy excitement, but because his plan had failed. Today, the children he had tried to kill would be born. Healthy. Strong. Alive. I'll wait in the hallway during the operation, and then I'll be the first to see our boys, he said. I gave a faint smile. No, not the first. I would be the first. I was their mother. They wheeled me into the operating room around 10 a.m. White walls, bright lights, antiseptic smell. I lay there, listening to the doctors' voices, thinking about my boys, what they'd be like. Our life without David and Linda. Without their lies and betrayal. There was no pain, only a strange pressure. Then came the first cry. Loud. Indignant. My firstborn. A minute later, the second cry, just as strong. The one who had once lagged behind was born as robust as his brother. Dr. Reyes, assisting, smiled. Congratulations, Emily. 2 beautiful, healthy boys. 5 APGAR points each. They showed them to me. Identical. Perfect. My sons. My future. I cried. From happiness. From a love I had never felt before. After the surgery, they moved me to my room. David was there. Pale, tense, with a forced smile. Linda stood beside him, just as pale. How are you? How are the babies? He asked. We're all fine. The boys are healthy and strong. 5 points each. I caught the flicker of disappointment in their eyes. They had expected a different outcome. That's wonderful, Emily, Linda said. When can we see them? Soon. They're being checked now. Then they'll bring them to me for the first feeding. They nodded, exchanging a glance that made me uneasy. But I was too happy to dwell on it. A nurse came in. Sorry, the patient needs rest. Please come back tomorrow. David started to protest, but Linda stopped him. Of course. We understand. Emily needs her rest. They left. I breathed in relief. Finally alone. An hour later, they brought the babies. 2 tiny bundles in blue blankets. The nurse helped me sit up and place them in my arms. I couldn't tell them apart yet, but I knew I'd learn. I nursed them, first one, then the other. It was new, but it felt so right. I swore I would always be there for them. Protect them from the world. Even from their father and grandmother. After feeding, they were taken back to the newborn ward. I lay there, smiling. I was a mother. Despite everything. That evening, Mom and Jessica arrived, excited and glowing. Emily, they're so beautiful, so perfect. Mom said. 2 little angels. And they look so much like you as a baby. I was glad she saw my reflection in them, not David's. Have you chosen names yet? Jessica asked. I thought for a moment. David and I had discussed options, but that was before the truth. Now, I wanted new names. Names I chose myself. I'm thinking Ethan and Matthew. Ethan means strong. Matthew means gift from God. Because they are both the greatest gift of my life. Mom and Jessica nodded in approval. We talked late into the evening about the future. But I didn't mention my plan to leave David. I didn't want to darken the day. That night, they brought the boys again for feeding. I held them. So much love my heart could burst. In the morning, Dr. Reyes checked my stitches. You're healing well, Emily. If it continues like this, we can discharge you and the babies in a week. Home. The word made me pause. Not to the apartment where they had tried to poison me. No, Dr. Reyes. I'd like to speak with you in private. It's important. Of course. I'll stop by after rounds. Around 11, David came with flowers and toys. His eyes watchful. How are you feeling? How are the boys? Good. They're both fine, I replied. He gave me a quick look, as if he suspected something. What do you mean, despite everything? I took a deep breath. Not time for confrontation yet. First, I had to make sure I had a plan. A plan to live without him, without Linda, without their lies and betrayal. I just mean they were born early. The doctors said there could be problems, but there aren't. They're perfectly healthy. He relaxed, nodded, believed me, or pretended to. I'm glad. Really glad. They are our future, Emily. Our sons. Our family. I looked at him. How could he say those words? Pretend to love the children he tried to kill? We talked for a few more minutes about the boys, about plans, about a future I knew would never happen. I nodded, smiled, pretended to believe every word, even though I was boiling inside. When he left, promising to come back in the evening, I breathed out in relief. Pretending was getting harder. But I had to, until I knew my children were safe. At noon, Dr. Reyes came. She sat beside me. What did you want to talk about? I'm not going back to my husband after I'm discharged. I can't. Not after what I've learned. She nodded, unsurprised. That's your decision. I respect it. But where will you go? With 2 newborns. To my mom. She rented an apartment nearby. 2 rooms. She'll help until I'm back on my feet. Until I find work. Dr. Reyes nodded. And your husband? What will you tell him? The truth. That I know about the affair. About his plan to leave me. About the attempt to poison me and cause a miscarriage. And that I'll never allow him near the children. He might deny it. And he has legal rights as their father. I have proof. The test results showing misoprostol in my blood. And a witness, Anna, who overheard his conversation with his mother. That's enough to take away his rights. And open a criminal case. And are you ready for that? For court? For publicity? For scandal? I hesitated. Part of me wanted justice. For him to be punished. Another part just wanted to start a new life. Without a trial. Without the public knowing. I don't know. You don't have to decide now. You have time. Think about it, Dr. Reyes said. Whatever you decide, I'm on your side. After she left, I stared out the window. Yes, it would be hard. Frightening. But for my boys, I was ready for anything. That evening, Mom and Jessica came with food, news, and warm smiles. I wasn't sure if I should tell them, but looking at their faces, I knew they had to know. Mom. Jess. I need to tell you something. It's hard, but you have to hear it. And I told them everything. About David's affair. His plans. The attempt to poison me. My decision to leave. They listened silently. Mom's eyes filled with pain and anger. Jessica's with fury. Sweetheart, this is terrible. How could he? Mom said, hugging me. I don't know, Mom. But I'll never let them near my children. Never. He needs to be held accountable, Jessica said. Both of them should answer for trying to kill you and the babies. I'm thinking about it, but I'm not sure I'm ready for court and publicity right now. Don't decide now, Mom said gently. We'll be here for you. We'll help you with everything. Yes, Jessica added, we're with you. And those people will never come near you or the kids again. I smiled through my tears, feeling endless gratitude. We discussed plans. Mom offered her apartment. Jessica offered to help with housing and legal matters. When they left, I felt calmer, more certain in my choice. My path without David. That evening, he came again. Alone. No mother. The same fake smile. How are you feeling? How are the boys? We're good. The doctors say if things stay this way, we'll be discharged in a week. He sat next to me, took my hand. I've prepared everything at home. Bought cribs, a twin stroller, toys, clothes. Everything you need. I nodded, not telling him I'd never return there. And my mom helped. She's so worried. She wants to be useful. Inside, my anger flared. But I stayed calm. I thought maybe we should still move in with my mom. She has a big apartment, 3 rooms. It'll be comfortable and she'll help with the kids. Twins are a lot of work for one person. I stared at him in disbelief. He was still pushing this? After everything? After I'd already refused? Was it stubbornness? Persistence? Or part of some new plan? No, David. We've already discussed this. We'll stay in our apartment. My mom will help me. She came here for that. Rented a place nearby. He frowned, clearly unhappy. Think about it. My mom has more experience raising children. She raised me alone after my father died. She knows how to take care of kids. And my mom raised me and my brother. She knows how to take care of kids too. And she's free now, not working. She can devote herself completely to her grandkids. David sighed, annoyed by my stubbornness. Fine, have it your way. But if you change your mind, my mom's help is still on the table. I nodded, not saying that I would never change my mind and would never let his mother near my children. He stayed a little longer, talking about work and plans for our future. A future I knew would never exist. I half listened, playing the role of the trusting wife. When he left, I exhaled in relief. One more week. 1 week of pretending. Then I'd be free. The days in the hospital dragged. I recovered from surgery, learned how to care for the babies. The doctors were pleased. David came every day. Sometimes Linda came with him, wearing the same fake smile. I smiled back, hiding my hatred. Mom and Jessica also came daily, bringing everything I needed. Mom set up the apartment. Jessica handled paperwork. And then the day came. The day I would start my new life without David and his mother. Dr. Reyes examined us, signed the papers. You're good to go, Emily. But the first weeks will be the hardest, especially with twins. Don't hesitate to ask for help. Thank you for everything, Dr. Reyes. I don't know what I would have done without you. You're strong, she said. You'll manage. By 10 a.m., Mom and Jessica arrived. Clothes, documents, a new stroller. We dressed the boys in matching blue jumpsuits, bundled them up, placed them in the stroller. I'd changed into regular clothes. I felt strange, but also free, ready to start over. Then David walked in, holding a bouquet of white roses, smiling, but with tension in his eyes. He froze when he saw us, ready to leave. What's going on? I thought we'd go home together. I called a taxi. I looked at Mom and Jessica. They nodded. David, we need to have a serious talk. He frowned. About what? What happened? I know everything. About your affair with Anna. About your plan to leave me after the birth. About the attempt to poison me to cause a miscarriage. About all the harm you and your mother have done to me and the kids. He paled. Stepped back. What are you talking about? This is postpartum depression. Don't lie. I have proof. The test results showing misoprostol in my blood. And a witness, Anna, who heard you talking to Linda about getting rid of the babies. That's enough not just for divorce, but for criminal charges. He stayed silent, not knowing what to say. Mom stepped beside me. Emily and the children are coming with me. And I demand that you don't try to contact them or interfere in their lives. Neither you, nor your mother. You can't do this. They're my children. I have rights. Rights? Jessica scoffed. What rights does someone have who tried to kill his own children? You have no rights, neither moral nor legal. David clenched his fists. You can't prove anything. This is all in your head. I can. And I will. If you don't leave us alone. And then you and your mother will end up in prison for trying to kill me and my children. He looked at me, and I saw fear in his eyes. Real, primal fear. The fear of a man who realized he'd been caught. That there was no escape. You're bluffing. You have no proof. No witnesses. No one will believe you. I pulled a folder from my bag. The test results. Anna's statement. Every piece of evidence I'd collected over the past 2 weeks, with the help of Dr. Reyes, Mom, Jessica, and everyone who stood by me. Here, David. Every detail. Every proof. Every testimony of what you did. And I will use it if I have to. If you don't leave us alone and try to interfere in our lives. He stayed silent, realizing he had lost. That his plan had failed. He had no choice but to back down. Fine, Emily. You win. I'll leave you alone. But remember, you're taking a father away from his children. A father who loves them, cares for them, wants to be part of their lives. I gave a bitter smile. He was still lying. Still pretending to care for the children he had tried to kill. Leave, David. And never come back. Neither you nor Linda. Never come near my children again. He stood for another moment, as if to say something, then turned and walked out. Out of the hospital. Out of our lives. For good. I exhaled, feeling the weight of lies, fear, and pretending lift from my shoulders. The weight I had carried ever since I learned the truth. Mom hugged me tightly. You did it, sweetheart. I'm proud of you. Jessica hugged me, too. The three of us stood together. 3 women. Ready to protect and love my boys. A few minutes later, we were ready to leave. I looked around the room one last time. The place where I had spent 2 weeks. Where my sons were born. We stepped out into the bright spring day. Everything was in bloom. The air filled with the scent of flowers. As if nature itself was welcoming us into a new life. Mom helped settle the babies into the taxi, then sat beside me and took my hand. Home, sweetheart. I nodded, smiling through my tears. Home. To a new life. To new happiness. Without David. And his mother. As the taxi pulled away, taking us from the past, I looked at my sleeping sons. And promised myself I would always love them. Protect them. And do everything for their happiness. A year later. My boys were already walking and saying their first words. I sat in the kitchen of my mom's apartment, drinking tea, watching her play with her grandsons. She loved them. Protected them. Gave them the very best. Helping me without hesitation or doubt. I thought about how much I had changed in that year. How much stronger I had become. How I had learned to live without David and his support. Starting a new story. Mine. And my children's. It had been hard. Especially those first months with 2 newborns. But I had made it. With the help of Mom, Jessica, and everyone who stood by me. Now, I could see with certainty. I was happy. With my sons. My mom. My friends. Without him. Without his mother. Without their lies and betrayal. Sometimes in the evenings, I thought about David. The man I had loved for 5 years. Who had betrayed me in the most monstrous way. I didn't know where he was. Or how he lived. And I didn't want to know. He was part of the past. I had chosen the right path. A path without him. A path of strength, love, and hope. A path where I was happy with my boys. What would you have done in my place? Have you ever faced such betrayal from someone you loved? Tell me what you think. I really want to know.